friends, welcome back to the fifth installment of Snake Hands production series. Things are coming along great on the song right now, and I wanted to jump in here and make sure I got another update done with you before I get too far ahead and kind of get buried in new stuff to show you. It's really funny how just a simple effect or a simple sound can change the course and kind of show you the way forward. One of the things that fell into place was I changed the key part from an electric piano back to the universal audio organ. It just gave it a different tone. I wish I still had the patch of what it used to sound like. But here's how this organ is sounding now. So that darkened up the tone and buried the keys a little bit more behind the guitars. And it turns out that that was the right step. I thought the keys previously, I kept kind of bringing them an octave up or making them louder. I thought they needed to be more present in the mix, and they didn't. The other big thing that kind of changed the sound was just a simple delay on my Squire Bullet guitar. So the left side guitar track. Solo that up and show you what I mean here. So that little echo makes all the difference compared to what you heard in episodes 1 through 4. So let me give you a little preview here of the beginning. There's some other stuff to be listening for. Recorded some claps and some shaker and some tambourine. Let's have a listen. Let's stop right there for now. Got some stuff to discuss. The bridge is coming together, so you're going to hear it today, at least the first half of it. So I added, it's really rough, something I threw together pretty quick, just a little riser here, just to build some tension. It might be a little overly detuned. Might need to get up over that a little faster. So that's new in there. And then the other thing that's new, and what I'm going to do for this episode is going to be kind of like a episode 5A and episode 5B. And 5B is I put together a nice little synth patch on the Monarch here. It's the Mini Moog emulator from Native Instruments. And put together a pretty cool patch like live, just did a screen capture and everything. So I wanted to share that with you just to see what it kind of looks like when I build out a synth. You can see the asterisk up here. I've been playing around with, there's a ton of automation on this song, way more automation than I've done on any other song so far. So if I show automation, I kind of scroll through the tracks, a lot of the stuff has stuff like this. And it's usually just a simple filter. In fact, it's FabFilter Simplon is kind of my favorite one because it doesn't take up a lot of space. I'm not looking for much, just looking to put some texture in. So I usually will pop a little resonance on there, maybe about like that, 3 to 5 somewhere, and just run the high pass down to kind of let things kind of ebb and flow. So there's a lot of filter automation going on the guitars, on the keys, and then on this synth. The synth is it was when I heard it just now, it was a little off, so I must have been messing. I know I was messing with the sustain on the filter envelope early this morning, and I've been playing around with the contour knob. So that the contour knob is actually automated like in the edit window. And then the sustain I've been playing around with to see if I want to do that. I may plug in some automation. I may just try to stick to it. But let me show you what this synth sounds like for now. And then you can see it in the separate video too. That was more how it was supposed to sound. So yeah, so that's new in there. Pretty cool sounding. Just, I used to love, man, I spent several years just playing with synthesizers where I didn't even pick up my guitar for what seemed like 2 or 3 years. It was kind of when I first got into the EDM thing, and I'm a super late bloomer. I'm 37 now. I didn't even go to my first EDM show till I was 30. So I played around with Serum a ton. Never did Massive or anything. I've demoed it and just decided to learn just one or two. And I had already committed to Serum, and then I love a Mini Moog. So I learned how to do that one as well. And that's kind of the primary one that I use. Although as for the riser that I showed you, I did use Serum for that because, as you know, the Mini Moog is a mono synth. So I can't really do the polytones with that. So yeah, let me hear the drop again real quick now that I know that I sorted that synth part out, and I feel like it'll ring a little better. You probably could see my demeanor change when I heard it because I was like, yeah, that's not how it's supposed to sound. Guitars. Let's do it. Let's go into the bridge. There's that contour knob right there. I really like that. That second guitar riff is super fun to play. When the snare comes in, it just really hits hard, and I can envision, I can envision people just. One of the neat things I did on the bass for this section, you'll see the automation here on the bass. The Mini Moog is famous for all its filters, but I can't remember the name of it. But there's there's LP1, LP2. I often use the low pass one, I think. But what I did to access that is use the Serum FX plugin. And you'll see here, pop this up on the screen, MG Low 12. That's the Mini Moog. So I ran my bass through the FX version of Serum and used the resonance and cutoff and drive to kind of get that swell and growl in the bass through that bridge. It's really funny. I've always feared automation, and I think the problem with it was I kind of thought about it as being too permanent to add early, and then too much of a burden to try to go back through and figure out how to automate everything later. Now I'm just doing it on the fly, and I'm not too worried about things being perfect on it. You can always edit it and take it away. But when I get an idea, I just throw it on. And that's why I like the FabFilter Simplon, because it's just as simple as, selecting your filter type. And it's just one thing. I'll right click this, edit automation, draw in some shapes, and it gives you all that ebb and flow that you need to make a section like that flow between parts and not sound so rigid is definitely, it's got a little work to do, still making sure that I have it as smooth as possible and having things echo out when they need to echo out. And, there's something to be said about house music, and that rising and falling effect really just kind of keeps you in that vibe, where you're following it, but you never get bored if you do it right. And that's what I'm going for here on this bridge. That's really all the new stuff for now. Got a couple guitar parts that change. I changed up just 3 or 4 notes in the synth there, the Monarch, just to make it not so, copy and paste looped. It's like 4 bars and then 4 bars, but the second 4 bars, it's a little bit different. I just have to go back through and make that change to the guitars, because the guitars come in on the drop there to add energy on that second part. So a lot of times I notice, like trap artists, and I know Grizz loves to do it, your first 8 bars on your drop has no hi-hats. And then they come in. When they do come in, I wanted there to be more energy than just the hi-hats coming in. And so what I did was I tried to keep the first half of the drop there. I tried to keep it a little more darker and bassier. And then the second half, those guitars come in to match the synth. So it fills out the spectrum of sound. And now suddenly you went from hearing this riff kind of right in front of, centered in your ears, and now you're hearing it out here too. So that was the goal there. Still a work in progress, but I'm much happier with the direction it's headed now. I had a couple days there where I was like, I don't know if this song's going to turn out any good, but you keep chipping away at it, and you find the way. So thanks for hanging out with me today for episode 5. And if you want to continue to follow along with the creation of this song, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Check me out over on Instagram, trying to engage with people. It's a little easier on Instagram. And then I think TikTok is probably next on the docket. Really dreading even having that on my phone, but mostly because I'll scroll endlessly probably. We'll see you guys back soon for what maybe the final episode, actually. Now that I think about it, it's getting pretty far along, and I always like to save a little bit. So stay tuned for the song here in the next, hopefully, month or so. I can imagine getting it done in 3 to 4 weeks. It sounds reasonable. Peace out, guys. We'll talk to you soon.